Carnival Spirits Juggalo Takeover. Carnival Spirits Juggalo Takeover.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Echoside Fiend here, up on Carnival Spirits once again, and this is the Juggalo Takeover. In this video, I wanted to discuss professional wrestling. I think anybody who watches any of my videos on my personal channel or on Carnival Spirits knows I'm a huge professional wrestling fan, and obviously, Insane Clown Posse and professional wrestling go pretty much hand in hand. I don't think I need to explain that to anybody. If you're a Juggalo, ICP fan, whatever, even if you're not a wrestling fan, you more than likely know that they are and that they're very closely tied to it. I myself became a professional wrestling fan when I was 11, and I was introduced to ICP and their music when I was 18. So for 5-6 years, I was already a huge fan. Me and my old neighbor, my best friend growing up, we became fans at the same time. For a little while, I have talked about it, I kind of sort of fell away from it a little bit when I got really heavy into skateboarding and snowboarding. I just found it hard to keep up with it. I still knew who the top names were, I still knew who the champions were, and I always went when they came to town. I just didn't follow it as closely for a little while, just while I didn't have access to record it and play back whenever. But I've always been a fan, pretty much since the very first time I saw it. I've always been a fan. Now, when it comes to ICP, I do have a lot of memorabilia, a lot of merchandise. I got a lot of collectible stuff, a lot of rare stuff. You would kind of think I have the same with professional wrestling, but I really don't. Obviously, I got the figure collection behind me. I still do have all my retro figures from when I was growing up. They are packed away at my folks' house. I got a couple of them around here, but the majority of them are there at my folks'. But however, I do have a couple of pieces of merchandise that are professional wrestling related, that are some of my most prized possessions, and I'm going to show them here. It's just a couple items. One I actually have showed in my favorite pieces of psychopathic merchandise video that I did on my personal channel. So if you did watch that, you will see that again, but it's still professional wrestling related, so I'm going to show it here. So it's just a couple items, but we're going to start with a magazine here. Now, growing up, I always bought the WWF magazine. Me and my neighbor, his name is Jim, we used to walk up into the town of Belmont every month, and we'd pick it up at the little grocery store that is still there, and we'd make a whole day of it. We'd buy some sodas and some chips, and then we'd go stop at a playground that was at the school that he attended, at the Catholic school, and I had a treehouse, and we'd sit up there and read our new magazines. But as I got older and figured more about wrestling out, the magazines were kayfabe, and I just kind of fell away from that. However, I went to SummerSlam 2005. So this is when I've been in my late 20s. And before I went, I did pick up the WWF Raw magazine. I guess it was WWE at this point in time. So the main event at SummerSlam was Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan. That was the one that turned into the big flop fest that Shawn Michaels was doing. But I bought this, and so this has obviously the photo of the super kick that he did that set the whole storyline in motion. And I don't know how good this is going to show up, but I got it signed. I wish I'd had a silver marker, although that probably wouldn't have shown up too good there either. But I did get it signed by Shawn Michaels and by Hulk Hogan. So I have the magazine cover with the, a photo of the action that set the whole storyline in motion. This went for a couple months, I think, maybe a month before the match. And I got it autographed by both of them. I keep meaning to get a frame to put this in. I just have not done that. 13 years later, and I still haven't done that because this was SummerSlam 2005 in Washington, D.C. But this is, I always have this on display. Right now I've got it just sitting down by my CDs. And like I said, I do need to get something to display this with, but autographed by HBK himself and motherfucking man Hulk Hogan, man. That's just like, and Hulk Hogan was fucking cool. They were both super cool, but Hulk Hogan was one of the nicest celebrities, wrestlers, whatever, that I've ever met. Moving on, I think I've stated it before that Bret the Hitman Hart is my favorite professional wrestler of all time. Back in 2000, I'm not really exactly sure when, mid 2000s anyway. He came to Blue Water Championship Wrestling in Port Huron, Michigan. It's a little indie company. They are still around. And he came and did a autograph signing and appearance and everything. And if you can see right up there, that's actually a signed promo by him that he signed personally to me. I got that at this show as well. When you went in, you tore the top of your ticket off, filled it out with your name and phone number, because if you weren't there and they drew your name, you could still win. They would send you your prize. But it was a raffle. You tore it off and gave it to him, and I filled it out. I was like, I'm not going to win anything. But they gave away like a shirt of the promotion. They gave away some money, like $50, something like that, you know. The grand prize was this. A replica belt. This is not the super high-end one. This is just vinyl. I mean, this is metal. But they have ones that are leather straps. This is just vinyl. But it is still, I think it was like $250, maybe $200 if you ordered them out of a magazine. And, of course, it was signed by the man himself, Bret the fucking Hitman Hart. And they drew the number, and I'm looking at my ticket, and I'm like, holy shit, I just fucking won it. So got to go up and get it. And then when they handed it to me, they were like, you know, Bret will be over at the table there again in a little while, because he'd already done the autograph signing. But they're like, he'll be back over there, and you can go over and get a picture with him, which I did, which I have on my Facebook. So if you're friends with me, you can search through there. It's in there somewhere. But I won this, and again, autographed by Bret Hart. That was such a fucking honor to meet him. I was just like, holy shit, dude. It was like, he's been my favorite wrestler, like, since, I mean, literally since I started watching wrestling. The first time I saw him, it's like, he is the fucking man, and that's never changed. And it's kind of funny, like, my neighbor, Jim, his favorite wrestler was Shawn Michaels. So, yeah, these two tag teams, they were both, you know, Bret Hart was in the Hart Foundation, Shawn Michaels was in the Rockers. Both of our favorite guys were tag team guys, and we both picked out the ones who went on to have the biggest fucking careers as our favorites, you know, and we didn't know anything about that then. We didn't know about politicking or anything. We just knew that they were awesome wrestlers, and we were just fans of them, you know. So lastly, the last thing that I've got, again, I have showed this off in my psychopathic merch video, but I went to, in 2007, maybe 8, somewhere along in there, I went to the Night of Appreciation for Sabu. It was a benefit show to raise funds for him for some medical things he had to have done. They did it at the Diamondback Saloon in essentially Detroit. It was Belleville, but it's right outside of Detroit. They had some huge names there. They had a bunch of guys from TNA, a bunch of guys from Border City Wrestling, a lot of big names. And it was hosted by Jimmy Hart, and it was fucking crazy, man. Mick Foley was there, Raven, Shane Douglas, all kinds of guys. And ICP. It was ICP and Rude Boy, and they wrestled Corporal Robinson, Richie Boy Briar Wellington, and Zach Gowen. And when the match was done, Violent J took off his boot and threw it to the crowd, and he... and honestly, I have to admit, I was sitting third row, I was wearing this, and I also had an ICP sign, and he turned around, and he pointed right to me, and he threw it, and I caught it in my fucking sign, and a bunch of people tried to get it, but I got my sign wrapped around it, and I got it. So the sticker was already there. I had Shaggy 2 Dope sign it at the Fuck the Fuck Off, yes, the Fuck the Fuck Off autograph tour. And then it took quite a long time. I got Sabu at Grand Rapids Comic Con just a couple years ago, and then that same year, I believe it was 2015, I did the VIP at Hollow Wicked, and I finally got Violent J on. It took me about pretty close to 10 years to get everybody on here, but I did. And I also like, it's pretty cool. There was a thumbtack stuck in the bottom of it, and I was there when I got it. So, and this is probably like my most prized possession among my whole collection of merch, whether it be ICP, pro wrestling, whatever. So this I always have on display. This is another thing I want to get some type of a case or something to put it in, but I just have not done that yet. So there you go, my top favorite pieces of merch. And there'll be wrestling, you know, obviously this is still wrestling related, so I'm gonna say my top favorite wrestling related pieces of merch. I got a lot of other little collectibles around, but these are the ones that mean the most to me that I always have on display. I always have this on display. Like I said, I want to get this in a frame, and I need to get some type of a case for this too. So that's pretty much it. Actually, this went a little bit longer than I planned on, but as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching Carnival Spirits, and make sure you're subscribed to everybody. Make sure you're subscribed to Carnival Spirits. Make sure you're checking out CarnivalSpirits.com, and make sure you stay tuned for more of the Juggalo takeover. So, as always, this is Echoside Fiend. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting, and I will catch you in the next one. Let's see if I can get Let's see if I can hold on to all this here. And yeah, there we go.